volunteers in Suzhou, China get in touch with their Tzu Chi spirit during the Lunar New Year holiday. Tzu Chi volunteers in Myanmar install solar panels for 3 schools in Thanlyin Township. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. As Tzu Chi offices across the world celebrate the Chinese New Year, in Suzhou, China, many volunteers and contributors have decided to visit their local Tzu Chi offices to get in touch with their Tzu Chi spirit. Here's more.
At the Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds, volunteers have come together for the Chinese New Year celebration, where they can immerse themselves in the Dharma of the Lotus Sutra. On the 3rd day of the Year of the Goat, some have come to make their monthly contributions.
As I enter the Tzu Chi grounds, my mind is immediately at peace. So that's why I have participated in many Tzu Chi activities.
There is also a volunteer couple who took time to honor their parents by kneeling. The once unruly daughter-in-law has now come around.
Before, my temper and the way I treated the elderly in the family were horrible. After joining Tzu Chi, I have learned the right path in life and learned to be grateful and respectful.
This businessman has learned that he receives more by giving.
Now I have more friends, and they all enjoy my company. So Tzu Chi not only brought blessings into my life, but harmony as well.
At both the Suzhou grounds and the Changzhou retreat, such transformations happen all the time and can be found in everyone.
In Fujian Province, China, Tzu Chi volunteers in Fuding recently visited their care recipients with relief items and gifts, as they hope needy families can also have the chance to celebrate a happier and warmer Lunar New Year. Touched by the volunteers' kindness, many care recipients donated their filled bamboo coin banks to pay the love forward. But first, we go to Kaohsiung, Taiwan, where 35 Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to give care recipient Ms. Luo's home a thorough cleaning. A house with its living room and bedroom filled with dust and garbage is where care recipient Ms. Luo and her 3 children call home. After suffering from a stroke, Ms. Luo lost ability and strength to clean up. Worrying that it was too much trouble for the Tzu Chi volunteers, Ms. Luo didn't want to accept their help. However, after years of interaction, Ms. Luo finally agreed to have the volunteers clean up her messy home. Besides giving the house a thorough cleaning, the volunteers also fixed broken ceilings and leaking pipes. Seeing the volunteers' selfless gestures, Ms. Luo's 3 children quickly joined the cleanup effort. Tzu Chi volunteer Ling Lan Ying, who has been caring for the family for years, says Ms. Luo's 3 children were still very young when they first met.
Miss Luo's children are really shy. When I first met them, they were really young, but they have grown a lot over the years.
With Tzu Chi volunteers' assistance, Ms. Luo and her 3 children realized that keeping the house clean is a responsibility that everyone in the family has to shoulder. Knowing that Tzu Chi volunteers will be visiting their care recipients, a couple happily donates some oranges. To give their care recipients a chance to celebrate a happier Chinese New Year, Tzu Chi volunteer in Fuding, China visit them with oranges, which symbolize good luck. Care recipient Grandpa Wang puts on a thick jacket he received from the Buddhist NGO to welcome the volunteers. Knowing that impoverished families don't have the means to purchase goods to celebrate the Lunar New Year, every year Tzu Chi volunteers make it a point to prepare relief items and gifts on their behalf. Touched by the volunteers' thoughtfulness, Fu Chenzhen decided to pay the love forward. Despite living in poverty and suffering from blindness, the father-in-law of single parent Ye Mei-ying insists on contributing his share.
I don't have a lot of money to donate. I can only give a little. The money can help the less fortunate, right?
The volunteer support not only reduces some of Ye Mei-ying's financial burden, but also helps her mentally challenged children discover their confidence.
Before, she would put her hands here and wouldn't let us see her face. She has improved a lot. Now she lets us see her face.
Tzu Chi Volunteers Love gives needy families the opportunity to celebrate a happier Lunar New Year and also inspires them to embrace the world around them. Next, we travel to the United States and Canada to see how Tzu Chi volunteers and children at the Tzu Chi academies celebrate the Lunar New Year. Let's take a look. The beauty of a city lies within its people.
Bring back our containers to give our contribution back to the Tzu Chi Foundation. You are a tremendous partner of Eagle Ridge Hospital.
Love unites everyone regardless of racial and religious differences.
Everyone can make a difference in the community, everyone can contribute, and those little bits add up to a lot. And that's what the foundation does, I think, with our communities.
Pass on the Dharma lineage and take root in local communities.
I live on Tzu Chi Street in Kolkata.
Volunteers dress as gods of fortune and visit children with hearing and speech impairments.
I think it is cool.
Children celebrate the Lunar New Year with joy and happiness.
This year, I have received a blessing and wisdom red envelope from Master Zheng Yan. I'm extremely happy.
Children write spring couplets and make red envelopes. People settle down abroad, but they never forget their roots. Celebrate the Lunar New Year by donating love. Begin the new year with love. In March 2014, Tzu Chi began the construction of 12 schools in Thanlyin Township, Myanmar. As 3 of the schools are situated in remote poverty-stricken areas, they do not have access to electricity. On rainy or cloudy days, schools are often forced to suspend classes as they do not have reliable access to lighting and power. Tzu Chi volunteers therefore decided to install solar panels for the 3 schools so that students may continue their studies uninterrupted.
Before Tzu Chi set foot in Tochun Elementary School, classes proceeded as usual during the day, but as soon as the sun set, teachers had to mark students' work by candlelight.
The classrooms used to be dark on cloudy days, and during the monsoon season, we would have to shut all the doors and windows during a storm, which made the classrooms even darker. In situations like this, we were always forced to suspend classes.
Of the 12 schools Tzu Chi is helping to rebuild in Thanlyin Township, 3 schools have lacked access to electricity. To improve their learning environment, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to install solar panels at the schools.
I hope that even on overcast days, children may still continue their studies uninterrupted. Students and teachers will also be able to continue their work in the evenings without having to worry about light.
These solar panels need to withstand the elements, so they are held in place by frames attached to roof-based mounting supports. The wiring is then run through the ceiling and attached to the solar power controller and battery.
A fully charged battery can power 8 fluorescent tubes for 10 hours. If 32 tubes are used, then it will only last for 4 hours.
Now that we have these solar panels, we don't have to worry about discontinuing classes in the future. We're also planning to purchase computer equipment for the school, and we will have power to run the computers. It will help our students gain access to information and technology.
All 12 schools that Tzu Chi is helping to rebuild feature green building materials. And now, with the installation of these solar energy panels, students will learn to better cherish our world's resources.
Taiwanese love sweets. On average, a Taiwanese eats about 20 kilograms of sugar a year, which translates into 100,000 kilocalories for the body to burn. To make the matter worse, the food industry has elected to use the cheaper and less sweet fructose extracted from corns in place of sucrose extracted from sugar canes. This means more glucose has to be used to generate the same sweetness, but the calorie intake is increased as well. Here's more about the hidden dangers of sugar.
The sugar here is the so-called raw sugar. The refinery in Xiaogang processes all the raw sugar from here.
Dumpster trucks unload golden yellow raw sugar into Taiwan Sugar Corporation's warehouse. Before it is sent into storage by an underground conveyor belt to be refined into white sugar.
In this warehouse, we hold imported raw sugar from Thailand, Australia, Brazil, or other countries in Central and South America.
In just several decades, imported raw sugar has overtaken Taiwan's sugar production capacity. As a result, the area of sugarcane fields, the source of Taiwan's sugar, has also decreased.
We plant about 10,000 hectares of sugar cane a year and extract the so-called B-grade sugar from it. This amounts to about 50,000 tons a year.
Once, sugar production was a major industry in Taiwan because of limitations imposed on sugar import. At the industry's prime, sugarcane fields occupied over 100,000 hectares in area. With the advent of free trade, however, the price of sugar dropped quickly, while labor costs continued to increase. At the same time, the government's farming policy does not encourage farmers to grow sugarcane, hence the decline in sugarcane farming. Meanwhile, Taiwanese continue to consume some 600,000 tons of sugar a year, and when domestic supply is depleted, the rest has to be imported.
On average, every Taiwanese consumes about 25 kilograms of sugar a year, which puts us in the 11th place for sugar consumption in the world.
No matter what kind of sugar it is, for every 100 gram, 400 kilocalories is generated. A 75-kilogram adult male should not eat more than 56 grams of sugar, or 225 kilocalories a day, while a 50-kilogram adult female should not eat more than 41 grams or 165 kilocalories a day. With every Taiwanese consuming nearly 66 grams of sugar a day, the extra calories quickly pile up around people's waistlines.
The fat cells work in a very interesting way. All the excess calories will be absorbed and stored here.
In the past, enjoying something sweet was considered a luxury, but nowadays sugar can be found in pretty much all processed food, and in particular, beverages.
If you take too much sugar, the excess that your body cannot process is stored in the form of fat, and fructose is mainly to blame.
Fructose is extracted from corn, and because of its convenience and lower cost, it has replaced sucrose, but our health is put at risk as a result.
The sweetness of fructose is about 25% less than that of sucrose, and it is extracted from corn. If you compare glucose and fructose, decades ago it was already proven that fructose is a lot more likely to cause fatty liver and turn up our insulin production.
As fructose is less sweet, more has to be used, but the calorie it produces is the same as that of other sugars, and therefore ingesting more means more calories for our body to burn or store. Currently, the international community is beginning to limit the amount of sugar people should ingest. The Taiwan government is also doing the same, for if we have too much sweetness in our life, we will all pay a bitter price.
In our weekly series on young vegetarians, today we meet 5-year-old Wu Roujun from Taichung, who has been a vegetarian for a year now. Through volunteering at her local Jingsi Books and Cafe, Roujun came to realize the importance of a vegetarian diet.
When Roujun is washing her hands, she will find a tap with lower water pressure to save on water. Roujun's diet consists mainly of fruit and vegetables. She makes it a point to eat more fruits and veggies.
小猪为什么打叉？
不行吃。
为什么不行吃？
Otherwise, the pig's mommy and daddy won't be able to find him and they will be sad. We shouldn't cut down trees because it causes landslides. We should recycle PET bottles because they can be made into blankets and clothing.
所以你把它画圈圈。
I like their uniform. I think it's very tidy and cute. It gives people a good impression.
来当小志工。
需要做什么事？
不过，
还有，
擦桌子、擦椅子，
还有，
排书。
小孩子哦。
Children who are clever are not necessarily wise, but wise people are definitely clever.
这是什么？
蚂蚁。
蚂蚁哦，啊，要这样闪过去呀。
你要小心哦。
谁要小心？你不要下骂。 She
says we should be more mindful when walking because if we are not careful, we might tread on ants by accident, and the ants' parents won't be able to find them. At the lessons held at the chapter house, they learned about cherishing and loving animals, and she has taken it all to heart. So when she sees meat on the table, she will tell everyone not to eat it.
这里全部没有肉肉啊！你看，你闻看看，有没有素肉？ 来，好，你可以吃了。曲哥，嘿，对他这样就敢吃了。
是炸鸡吗？
猪排啦，炸鸡在。
She doesn't want us to harm the animals, and she knows vegetarianism is environmentally friendly and is so good for our health. She gives this out to people each time. Remember how we pretended to be eating meat just now? So she went into the kitchen and said, "This is for you, don't eat any more meat." It doesn't matter how much fame and fortune you have, if you don't reciprocate kindness, you will still live with regrets. We should always be thankful for our blessings. Only when we have gratitude and love in our hearts can we love others. Next, I meet Zhou Shaoyou and his wife Wong Zhenzhen, who are both devoted to the volunteers who have spent the past 2 years starting their day off right by watching Master Zheng Yin's wisdom at dawn broadcast.
Zhou Shaoyou, at the age of 77, doesn't only handwrite his notes when he listens to the master's teachings each morning. But upon returning home, he types up his notes on a computer. These are the fruits of his labor. He has done this for the past 2 years.
I boldface the more important messages. This way, it's easy to find when needed.
Turning his handwritten notes into an electronic copy doesn't only help the senior refresh the message, but is also easily shared with others. For Tzu, learning from the master isn't about writing down everything. He is actually looking for answers to life's questions.
I don't just methodically recall what the master says. I wait with my pen at the ready. Sometimes I wait for a day or two and I won't get anything. But other times, in just one day, there are much to write down. I'm waiting for the right message.
我想要的东西，几乎是每天都在用的。
Zhou's home is filled with books on Buddhist teachings, evidence that although the senior is retired, he doesn't let his days pass by idly. The same goes for his wife, Wong Zhenzhen, who has also put her whole heart into Tzu Chi.
At times, I'm very frustrated that I'm unable to take on some tasks. The best way for me to safeguard the master is to learn from her teachings each day.
Despite their age, the couple remains steadfast in their pursuit of enlightenment and wakes up early to watch the master's morning lecture. This determination is something the two of them share with one another.
我绝对坚持说，共修的力量大于自己在家里自修。
I am a firm believer that during the course of cultivation, I gain more wisdom when I study in a group setting than alone at home. I've tried to watch the 8 a.m. broadcast of the Master's teachings on the Lotus Sutra on TV, but I've been unable to concentrate. My mind would wander to my household chores, like how I need to put the washing powder in the washing machine and put the clothes in, or rinse the rice and cook it, and so on.
Easily distracted by chores, Wong Zhenzhen doesn't forego her household duties in search of wisdom. Instead, she starts her day even earlier to attend the master's broadcast at her local Tzu Chi office. Remaining steadfast, the husband and wife pair know that absorbing Dharma each day helps them to live their life to the fullest.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan lives a 90-year-old senior who used to rely on her son to provide for her daily needs. But a month ago, her son fell ill and was unable to continue to tend to her. To help, a local charity organization in the city took over the provision of meal for the senior. As stomachs did go on holiday, the volunteers of Jianjing Charity didn't cease their daily meal delivery even during the Lunar New Year holidays.
Arriving on a scooter, volunteers from a local charity organization in Kaohsiung have arrived to deliver food to a senior. This daily lunch delivery is the only way this impoverished senior gets food these days. As a month ago, her son fell ill and is now unable to take care of her. The grandmother's weight suddenly dropped due to the recent misfortune.
When Miss Huang visited me, she said, "Oh, you've gotten too skinny." I had no appetite during that time.
Fortunately, the Jianjun Charity Organization stepped in to deliver food to the senior, even during the lunar holiday.
Of course I am. I have a relative, a sister, who is in her 80s. Whenever Miss Huang brings me food, I will tell my sister what she's brought me, and my sister feels that I am very fortunate.
Treasuring this lunch delivery and also the love of the volunteers, this senior is able to celebrate the holiday with a bit of warmth and a full stomach.
We go to Hsinchu, Taiwan at the end of the show, where recycling volunteers of each district and community members gather together to sort the massive amount of recyclables collected during the Chinese New Year holiday. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.